Alright, welcome to David's Irritation. It's not a Let's Play for once, it's kind of amazing. Today I'm going to be doing a quick overview, well not really an overview, I'm going to do some pretty in-depth how to PvP as a Frost Mage. I mean, Arcane Mage is pretty obvious, but Frost Mage is a little bit different. A lot bit different actually, there's a lot more to it. First off, one of the big things you got is you have a pet, which helps out a lot, more than you actually think, but this first part is going to be all about the talent tree and how to spec yourself and how to reforge your gear. So if you're not interested in that, go ahead and just skip forward and you get to the part where it's actually how to practice, or the theory to practice part of it, where we actually kill some shit in some battle runs. But first off, we're going to start off, obviously you want Frost as your main tree here. You want Piercing Ice for the critical chance. You want Shatter because it, again, gives you a higher critical chance. Ice Flows reduces the cooldown of some stuff, which is useful. Like your Ice Barrier is a huge one. You definitely want to keep that up. And Ice Veins is also great, as well as Cold Snap and Cone of Cold and Frost Nova. All these snares are huge for how you're going to play. Improved Cone of Cold also freezes targets. That's very important. Piercing Chill applies chill effects to nearby targets. It's useful. You don't necessarily have to have it, but it is useful, particularly for characters with pets like hunters and other stuff like that. Permafrost reduces target speed by additional 10%, which is pretty useful. And also whenever you do damage, your water elemental is healed, which is pretty helpful because you can't summon your water elemental all the time. It's a 3-minute cooldown, so if it dies, you gotta wait 3 minutes, unless you summoned it a while ago, and then just kill again, and yeah, that kind of helps out with that. Icy Veins, big one. It's a great cooldown. It gives you 20% haste for your spell casting, as well as reduces any pushback from your casting. Fingers of Frost is also outstanding. It helps out with it makes your ice lances. It makes everything. Makes your ice lances and your deep freeze actually pretend like the target is frozen. So deep freeze is huge. It's a good stun and gives you a lot of crit. And other than that, I mean, the Ice Lance doubles the damage if you have things frozen, so that's also great. Improved Freeze gives your Water Elemental's freeze spell 100% chance to grant 2 charges of Fingers Frost, also extremely helpful. Skipped Enduring Winter, I mean, it reduces the mana cost by 3%, but it's not really, you're not going to run out of mana, basically. It's just probably not going to happen, and if you do, you're going to be able to invisibility and then evocate, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. Also skipped Ice Shards because obviously you don't really care about Blizzard. You're not going to use it like ever really. Brain Freeze turns your instead of getting the Arcane Missiles, you get Frostfire Bolt, which is much more useful to you. Shattered Barrier, whenever your Ice Barrier goes down, it freezes everybody like a Frost Nova, so that's also very useful. Ice Barrier is extremely important because that is a huge part of your mitigation and survival. You should be popping that up all the time instead of Mana Armor. What the fuck is that even called anymore? Mage Armor? No, not Mage Armor. You know that spell. Oh yeah, here we go. Mana Shield. Instead of Mana Shield, you use Ice Barrier. So it's pretty damn comparable. It absorbs 18,000 damage, but doesn't drain mana when it does it. It just is a flat 3,500 mana for me at least. Whereas your Mana Shield only absorbs about 7,000 damage and drains mana for each point absorbed, so that's not too good. Also, Reactive Barrier gives you 100% chance to, or for the Ice Barrier to spell to automatically cast when no mana cost upon taking damage and lowers cast size below 50%. So in other words, if you forget to do your Ice Barrier, that's kind of like the idiot check. It helps out a lot. Or if it's going to obey the cooldown, so I mean, if you don't have Ice Barrier on cooldown, great, but if it does happen to come off cooldown and you get below 50%, you're good to go. Deep Freeze, again, huge. It does a lot of damage if you can't stun the target, so against, like, say a Death Knight or something that has Icebound Fortitude up, that'll help out a lot. That'll actually do a good chunk of damage to him instantly. It's not going to freeze him, so it's not as helpful, but it will do a good bit of damage. More important is the deep freeze part, because when they're deep frozen, they can't move at all, they can't do anything, and you get that 20% increased crit chance from Shatter, so you're going to be able to cast usually about 3 Frostbolts at least, so that's a pretty big bonus there. Outside of the Frost Tree, you've got Master of Elements, because your spell criticals will refund 30% of the base mana cost. That's why you really don't need Enduring Winter at all, because you'll be getting crits a lot, and you're not going to need any kind of spell, any kind of mana regen, really. Burning Soul and Improved Fire Blast, not really that useful. So, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could get Improved Fire Blast to, no, that'd be pointless. Don't get Improved Fire Blast at all. Unless it was a stun, which it's not. If you want to get Impact, spec into that, I mean, you could, but it's not that useful still. Over in the Arcane Tree, you want Improved Blink for the speed from it. And also, you want Netherland Presence for cards for the haste. And, obviously, Counterspell, because Counterspell is also the shit. And that's pretty much it. There's your talents. As far as glyphs go, you want Ice Lance, obviously. You want... I have Molten Armor, which I don't know why I have it still. I think I just haven't changed it yet. But you're probably better off with Mage Armor or probably Deep Freeze would probably help out, or Glyph of Frostfire. One of those two. I just don't have any of the glyphs right now, and I don't feel like making them or buying them, so I think that's probably why I've done it. But Mage Armor is also useful. That'll make sure you don't, like, ever run out of mana, like, ever. But you also want the Glyph of Ice Barrier, because it increases the amount absorbed. You want Slow Fall, usually, because it's very helpful. And you don't want to have to cast, if you don't want to carry Regents around, I definitely don't. Mirror Image. If your Mirror Image is cast the same spell you're casting, it makes it more confusing, especially if you're standing next to him, as opposed to if you just run off to the side. And then just minor glyphs are minor glyphs, whatever you want to do, really. Oh, and also, the Glyphification is also pretty huge. But there you go. That's pretty much how you're gonna glyph and spec. As far as how to reforge your gear, I would recommend, because mages are very complicated, I'd recommend getting Reforginator, because it will tell you essentially what you need to reforge for. It's really helpful. So it'll tell you exactly what you want to reforge for the most part. And as you can see, you mostly want crit. Mastery's not going to be that useful. Hit rating, as long as you have the hit cap, you're good to go. So as long as you got hit cap and you have... that's it. You really need a hit cap and spell pen. Oh, I forgot to mention spell pen is, of course, you need to have the minimum of... what the hell was it for mages? I think it's still 195. Yeah, 195 for your spell pen. That will be very useful so that you don't end up getting resisted a lot, because obviously all of your damage is going to be magic damage. So I'm going to go ahead, reforge my junk here, and I'm going to queue for Battleground, and I will pick this up when I get into it. Alright, so we got into our Battleground here. We have Eye of the Storm here. As far as my buffs, I'm using Arcane Brilliance, obviously, and Mage Armor. You could use Arcane or Dalaran Brilliance for the crit. Would probably actually be a better option for you. I don't have it though. I have no intention of getting it because I'm not. I'm not trying to gear my mage out of Maze. This isn't my main PvP character. I'm just doing a how-to pretty much. But that's how that works. To start at Battlegrounds and arenas, you want to make sure you have your mana gems built up. You don't want to like get through and go to click a mana gem and go, oh shit. It's not like you're going to really need it most of the time, but I mean, it exists. You also want to make sure you have, all your good cooldowns on your bar, such as Cold Snap, Icy Veins, Time Warp's useful sometimes, and Invisibility and Ice Block, of course. Ice Block's huge. Oh, and FK. The thing to remember is you want to keep up Ice Barrier pretty much 99% of the time. You don't want to ever not have an Ice Barrier up. If you never know when a rogue's going to hit you, and that Ice Barrier is going to save you because you'll get stunned or something. He'll knock your Ice Barrier out, freeze himself out, and you just blink away, and he's stuck still. So that's always useful. As far as how to set up bars, I generally have my Ice Lance as my number one because it's a lot easier to use that than it is for anything else. Because Ice Lance you use a shit ton, as you will see. Pretty much, if you're trying to get away from something or chasing something, it's Ice Lance, Ice Lance, Ice Lance. And I forgot my stupid feather. Okay, here we go. But now we're on to the actual game here. I'm not really going to be applying any real strategy here. I'm mostly just going to be focusing on, it's probably not going to be one-on-one fights here. Like, almost guaranteed it won't be. But I'm pretty much going to be just showing you how to do it. You have to keep in mind, playing a mage, you are a mage, so you're not meant to be on the front lines. Although you can do pretty damn good damage one-on-one against somebody without them being able to touch you if you know what you're doing. Saw that rogue stealth up there, so just going to do a couple arcane blasts to see if I can have him come out, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So I'm just going to get on my snowy griffin here and ride away. Let him make the first move, which he doesn't appear to be doing, so fuck it. I don't know if they're going to cap the flag or what, but nothing's happening over there, so I'm going to see if I can find somewhere to kill someone. Alright, over here looks like a good spot. Alright, so again, you have to remember, you're not supposed to be on the front lines. Stuff like a warrior, whirlwinding, not good to stand in that. A good thing for you to do as a mage is definitely focus on the healers, because you're going to be able to CC them like nobody's business. I actually deep froze him right there, and now I'm going to just kind of silence him. If he wasn't a druid, I would go ahead and sheep him, but he is, so wow, this is not going well for me. So times like these is when I generally would try to pop my mirror image, but you do of course have the option of running like hell at any point, like I've done, but that's kind of how you do it. If you just stand there, you're probably going to die most of the time. So you want to keep your blink ready for times when you are going to need it. But yeah, so that actually worked out pretty well. I thought we were going to like definitely wipe right there and lose everything. Also, you gotta really pay attention to your water elemental, because a lot of times you'll run away from it and it'll disappear, and you don't want that. So, don't be a noob like me and completely forget about your water elemental. What the fuck? Yeah, but another good thing, keep in mind you do have the freeze for your water elemental, which will give you that 2 charges of Fingers of Frost instantly, which makes it very easy to deep freeze things. Even if they get out of the initial frost, you'll still have your Fingers of Frost up, so you'll be able to deep freeze them afterwards anyway. So that's pretty damn useful. So again, looking for people to kill, because I guess tonight the Horde is being bitches. If you watch my previous video on DKs, you'll notice I wasn't on Horde before, and that was fun. I just got tired of Horde, to be honest with you. But here we go, we're going to freeze him in place here. He got out of that, and I'm trying to deep freeze him, but didn't work. Still pretty much managed to get away there. But, yeah. Warriors, generally very easy to kite. If they try to whirlwind at you, they're probably really bad and stupid. Because when they start doing that, you just pretty much strafe away and ice lance, and you'll do fine. So that's how that's done. Generally, I would advise you to keep your things such as your blanket silences available. Don't use them right away if somebody starts healing. Save those for when they start getting low. If they want to cast, let them cast, but you want to definitely use that at a more opportune time usually, such as when they're really not expecting it. It's far more useful to actually save your... It's far more useful to use your deep freeze instead, because that'll give you a good couple more seconds to get them out of the fight, and then you can wail on them a bit till they're low on mana, then you stun them, and usually you can cold snap them again before they're able to actually get out of everything. And of course the guy had to mind control the guy I was just about to kill, so that's fucking annoying.